Have you ever stopped to think about how we actually learn something new and complicated? It turns out it's a whole lot like a construction project. Today, we're going to dive into how the best learning isn't just about cramming in information, but about carefully building understanding, one strategic piece at a time.
So let's start right there. How is learning a new skill, like say a new language or a complex bit of science, anything like putting up a skyscraper? It might sound like a bit of a stretch, but trust me, this one idea is the key to unlocking how really effective teaching and learning actually works.
You know, you'd never start a huge construction project without a blueprint, right? Well, in the world of learning, we have blueprints too, and they're the theories that guide how we construct knowledge in the first place.
And the name of our blueprint is Scaffolding Theory. The big idea is actually pretty simple. You give temporary, strategic support. Just think about it. On a construction site, the scaffolding is absolutely essential for putting up the walls and getting the work done. But nobody ever mistakes it for being a permanent part of the building. It's there to help, and then it's gone.
Okay, so if scaffolding is the how, this next concept tells us where to build it. It's called the zone of proximal development, or ZPD for short. Just picture this. There's a gap. On one side, you have everything a student can do completely on their own. On the other side, you've got stuff that's just way too hard for them right now. The ZPD is that perfect sweet spot right in the middle, the things they can do, but only with a little bit of help. That, right there, is our construction zone.
All right, we've got our blueprint. It's time to break ground. And the very first step in any build is to lay a rock-solid foundation. In learning, that means being really smart about how we introduce new information right from the get-go.
And this really boils down to two main pillars of support. First, you've got content scaffolding. That's all about preparing the actual learning materials. And second, you've got language scaffolding, which is getting the communication tools ready so we can all talk about those materials.
So here's what that looks like in the real world. For the content, a teacher might use real-life objects like coins to teach about money. It makes an abstract idea totally concrete. For the language part, they could pre-teach some key vocabulary using flashcards. See? These aren't huge, complicated things, but they make brand new information feel so much less intimidating.
So the foundation is set and solid. Now the real building begins. This is where we start putting up the main structure. This whole next phase is about guiding the student as they actively start to work with and make sense of all this new information.
And again, we're focused on two things. We're helping students connect all the different pieces of content together. And at the same time, we're giving them the language tools they need, kind of like the assembly instructions for building their own thoughts and ideas. This is where the learning gets really active. Instead of just sitting there and listening, a student might be using a graphic organizer to map out their ideas. Or maybe they're given a simple sentence starter like "I prefer" to help them shape and express an opinion. They're actually starting to do the building themselves, with the teacher right there acting as a guide.
And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head. The whole point isn't just to collect a bunch of facts in your head. It's about giving students a functional tool, a skill they can actually take out into the real world and use. Okay, we are in the home stretch now. The main structure is up and it's time for all those finishing touches. This final step is all about helping learners confidently show off everything they've built. And here, the kind of support we give, well, it shifts a little bit. It's less about building and way more about presenting. The focus is on helping students get their work ready for the big showcase and helping them polish the language they're going to use to explain it all.
And some of these strategies are just so powerful. Letting a student answer a question with a drawing, or putting them in mixed ability groups where they can actually teach each other, these things bring the anxiety level way down. It helps make sure that a final project is actually measuring what they know, not just how perfectly they can say it.
And now, we've reached the most exciting part of any construction project, the grand unveiling. But to get there, we have to do something that feels a little bit scary, almost counterintuitive. We have to take all that support away.
Seriously, this might be the single most important part of this whole process. The entire point of a scaffold is for it to eventually become unnecessary. The end goal is independence, and you can only get there when that support is slowly, carefully taken away.
And this slide just lays out the stakes perfectly, doesn't it? On one hand, the goal, a confident, independent learner who can think for themselves. On the other hand, the risk. If we leave that scaffold up for too long, we accidentally create a permanent dependence on it.
And let's be real, this approach takes work.
Just like the quote says, the prep time can be complex. It takes a real investment from teachers to design all this. But the payoff? That moment when you see a student blossom into a capable, independent thinker is just absolutely immeasurable. It's worth every bit of the effort.
So I'll leave you with this one question to chew on. Think about your own life. Maybe you're teaching your kids something, or mentoring a new person at work, or even learning something new yourself. Where could you build a better, smarter scaffold to create a stronger, more independent result in the end?